And I don't know if you noticed a theme in all of those four phases, but if you didn't pick up on it, the best exercise that you can be doing, the best exercise for your hormones would be, what if I told you that the workouts you're doing right now could be the reason that your hormones feel out of whack? You're tired, you're craving sugar, you're bloated, and the scale just won't budge. And it might be because of how you're exercising. Hi, welcome back to the She Is Well podcast. I'm your host, Natalie Trapasso, registered dietitian who specializes in helping women support their hormones so that they can lose weight, have more energy, and have painless periods, boost fertility, and so much more. Today, we're going to be talking about the best workout for your hormones, what workouts you should avoid, and how to exercise in a way that actually supports your body and doesn't burn you out. Before we dive into what workouts are best for your hormones, let's take a step back and talk about how your hormones actually work and why it matters. Your hormones are like tiny chemical messengers that tell your body what to do and when to do it. For women, some of our key hormones that we're looking at include estrogen, which helps with energy, metabolism, and mood, progesterone, which helps with calm, sleep, and reducing anxiety, cortisol, which is your main stress hormone, also plays a huge role in your metabolism, insulin also plays a huge role in your metabolism and helps manage blood sugar and cravings. Throughout your cycle, these hormones naturally rise and fall, impacting your energy levels, your cravings, your motivation to work out, and your mood. When these hormones are in balance, you feel energized, you feel clear-headed, your body can release weight more easily, and it improves your fertility. When they are out of balance, you may feel tired, bloated, moody, you might be dealing with infertility, you have no motivation, it's really just a mess. So I want you to remember the fact that your hormones are fluctuating all throughout the month. Certain phases of your cycle, you have higher estrogen levels, and certain phases of your cycle, you have higher progesterone levels. This is really important, and we're going to come back to this later because those hormones respond to stress differently. Now, there are 4 factors that impact your hormones and can either bring them into balance or push them out of balance. This is going to be your blood sugar. So when your blood sugar is out of balance, this directly impacts your hormones like cortisol, your stress hormone, and your insulin, which does impact all of your other hormones. Your gut health. Your hormones are either built up or broken down in the gut, so you need a healthy gut to have healthy hormones. Stress management. When you're stressed, your hormone cortisol is released, and cortisol impacts basically every other hormone in your body. And when you're releasing too much of this hormone, it is throwing your other hormones off balance. Sleep. So poor sleep can also impact all of your hormones, cortisol, your hunger and fullness hormones, and progesterone. So basically, we want to be having good blood sugar stability. We want to have a healthy gut. We want to have good stress management, and we want to have good sleep quality to keep our hormones functioning properly so that we can lose weight more efficiently, we can have more energy, we can have better periods, we can improve our fertility, and all of the other good things that come with balanced hormones. I did dive deeper into these topics in a past episode. It was my hormone weight loss episode, so you could definitely check that out if you want to hear more about how to support all of those 4 factors that impact all of your hormones. But exercise is one of the best tools that we can use to support our hormones when it is done in a way that aligns with your body. Exercise can support blood sugar balance. Your muscles use glucose, or that blood sugar. So when we're talking about blood sugar, we're actually talking about glucose. It uses that glucose that we get from the food that we eat for fuel during and after exercise. This can help lower blood sugar levels and improve insulin sensitivity so that we can use insulin more efficiently. This gives you stable blood sugar, reducing cravings, mood swings, and energy crashes. It also supports balanced estrogen and progesterone, which are sensitive to blood sugar spikes. Exercise also supports our gut health because it increases blood flow to your digestive system, supporting regular bowel movements, supporting a healthy gut microbiome, which aids in estrogen detoxification. It reduces inflammation, which is linked to gut imbalances and hormone disruption. Exercise can support us getting good quality sleep. Exercise supports sleep by helping you fall asleep faster and staying asleep longer. It helps you support getting deeper, more restorative sleep. It helps regulate your circadian rhythm, which is your sleep wake cycle, which is also impacted by a hormone melatonin and cortisol. And exercise also supports our stress management. Exercise is one of the most effective tools that we can use to manage stress, which is a huge factor for hormone health. Like we talked about, cortisol, or our stress hormone, literally impacts all of our other hormones. So when we have good cortisol balance, we have good hormone balance. And exercise is a great tool to help balance out that cortisol. Movement releases endorphins, or your feel-good hormones, which can help reduce anxiety and depression. Exercise helps metabolize excess cortisol, or your stress hormone, like we just talked about, and it provides a healthy outlet for emotional stress. Now, here is where it gets tricky. While exercise is healthy and exercise is great in terms of stress, exercise itself is actually a stressor, which means it does spike your cortisol. This is why moving in a way that supports your hormones instead of fighting against your hormones is so important. So how does exercise impact your cortisol? Studies show that exercise temporarily increases cortisol, especially during high-intensity exercise like HIIT training or long cardio sessions, during prolonged workouts, so greater than 60 minutes, or in fasted state. So when you're working out before breakfast, your cortisol increases. While this increase is normal and it helps mobilize energy like that glucose we talked about into our muscles, it facilitates muscle repair post-exercise. Studies also show that high-intensity training without adequate recovery can lead to chronically elevated cortisol levels, disrupt menstrual cycles and hormone balance, increase cravings and fat storage, and contribute to burnout and fatigue. Excessive endurance training can lead to hormonal disruptions, including elevated cortisol and lower thyroid and reproductive hormones in women. So when your body is already under a lot of chronic stress, and I don't know about you, but I don't know anybody that doesn't have a lot of stress in their life right now. There's so much going on in the world. We're all stressed. And then you throw in lack of sleep on top of it because you're dealing with a baby or whatever. You have emotional stressors going on. I mean, every time you open up your phone, there's something else going on. You're under eating maybe because you're trying to lose weight, and now you're over exercising. Your cortisol is through the roof. Your cortisol is really high. Your cortisol levels can stay elevated, and now you're adding in these high intensity exercises or fasted exercises without giving your body any rest. You're just increasing your cortisol even more. High cortisol over time can disrupt your menstrual cycle, lead to cravings and weight gain, especially around your stomach, and it suppresses progesterone, leading to PMS, anxiety, and infertility. It contributes to fatigue and burnout. So it's really not something that we want to mess with. If you're somebody that's already super stressed or really sensitive to stress, we don't want to be doing a lot of high intensity exercises or exercising in this way that goes against our hormones. So what we want to do instead is we want to do consistent moderate exercises, because consistent moderate exercises like walking, strength training, lower impact cardio is shown to lower your baseline cortisol levels over time, improve your stress resilience, which means when you are stressed that you're going to manage it better. It supports hormone balance and menstrual regularity, so you're going to have better periods, and it's going to enhance your mood via endorphin releases. So what this is, it's not about doing more, right? It's not about pushing yourself more. It's about doing what is right for your body in each phase of your cycle and making sure that you're not adding unnecessary stress with intense workouts when your body is already overwhelmed. The best thing that you can do is to move in a way that aligns with your body and aligns with the way that God designed your body. So in a minute, we're going to be breaking down exactly what types of workouts are best for each phase of your cycle and how to build a simple weekly plan that supports your hormones, metabolism, and energy without burning out. Now, here's what I want you to watch out for and what to avoid when you're trying to balance out your hormones when it comes to exercises. Overtraining, right? We don't want to be doing high intensity interval training or intense cardio every day. That can keep our cortisol elevated and stall fat loss like we just talked about. We don't want to be ignoring our cycle because your hormones are fluctuating all throughout the month. Remember, I said that earlier. I said we were going to come back to that. We're getting to that part. Because your hormones are fluctuating all throughout the month, sometimes you have higher estrogen, sometimes you have higher progesterone, and you need to take your cycle into consideration because these hormones respond to stress differently. And you don't want to be training without ever giving your body a break. We want to be recovering. You need to be taking rest days. Rest days aren't lazy, they're essential for hormone balance. I mean, even God rested on the seventh day, and Jesus invites us to come to Him to rest. Now that we know all of that, let's talk about the best workouts for each phase of our cycle, because this is what you want to do instead. And just as a recap, we have the 4 phases of our cycle: the menstrual phase, the follicular phase, ovulation, and the luteal phase. So if you get a period, you have these 4 phases of your cycle. So with the menstrual phase, this is when you get your period and it lasts about 3 to 5 days. This is when your hormones are at your lowest. The best workouts that you want to do during this phase is resting, walking, gentle stretching, maybe some Pilates or strength training. Think low impact workouts during this phase because your hormone levels are low. They cannot handle higher intensity exercises. If you do that during this phase, you risk spiking your cortisol too much. During the follicular phase, this is right after you end your period and it lasts about 6 to 7 days. So it's about the week after you get your period. Estrogen rises during this phase and your energy might be rising too. You're going to feel yourself getting more energy during this time because of that estrogen. Now, estrogen is a growth hormone, so this is the best phase for strength training to build your muscle. You build muscle easier in this phase than in your menstrual phase or your luteal phase. Because energy is rising, you can also push yourself a little bit harder here, and your body can handle more intense exercises during this phase. So if you do like doing high intensity interval training, or you do like doing longer bouts of cardio exercises, this is when you want to do that during the follicular phase. Or in ovulation, which is about halfway through your cycle and lasts about 2 to 4 days. This is when your estrogen and your testosterone are peaked. So this is your highest energy phase, and you still have that high estrogen, like I said. So continuing with the strength training so you can build more muscle, because muscle is the best thing that you can have. The more muscle you have, the more calories we burn at rest, the more boosted your metabolism is, the more stable your blood sugar is. So we definitely want to be building muscle. Continue doing that strength training. And because your estrogen is at its peak here, you can continue doing that higher intensity exercises. So continue with the HIIT training if that's something that you like to do. And remember to listen to your body during this time. Don't push yourself too much, but definitely listen to your body. The luteal phase is right after ovulation and it lasts until you get your next period. It's about 10 to 14 days. So this is the longest phase of our cycle. This is the phase when progesterone is supposed to be higher than estrogen. Progesterone is very, very sensitive to stress. Cortisol will literally shut off your progesterone, which can lead to estrogen being higher during this time. And that's what we want to prevent, because This can cause PMS, painful periods, mood swings, intense craving, anxiety, trouble losing weight, and trouble with your fertility. This phase is a great time for strength training, Pilates, and walking. Again, think those lower impact workouts that are not pushing your cortisol too much because progesterone is so sensitive to stress. I don't know if you noticed a theme in all of those 4 phases, but if you didn't pick up on it, the best exercise that you can be doing, the best exercise for your hormones would be strength training. If I had to pick one exercise to do for the rest of my life, as much as I love doing Pilates, it would be strength training just because of all of the benefits that it has for your hormones and just as women in general, how many benefits strength training has. So your body can store that glucose or that blood sugar that we get from our food in 2 places. It can store it in your muscle tissue or your fat tissue. So when you build more muscle, you're asking your body to put that glucose into your muscle versus putting into fat tissue. You're helping your metabolism and you're making it easier for you to lose weight. Consistent muscle building improves blood sugar regulation and cortisol levels, which directly impacts your menstrual health, your fertility, and even looking into the future, the age that you start and the severity of your perimenopause journey is impacted by how much muscle you have. So here is what I do in terms of exercises. So if we take all of that into consideration, if we take the 4 phases of our cycle, what's happening with our hormones, and what are the best exercises to do for those hormones during those times. In the menstrual phase, I basically rest the first 2 days of my cycle. That is when your hormones are at their lowest and you definitely don't want to push your body too much. So I rest the first 2 days of my cycle. Maybe I'll go for a walk. I basically go for a walk every single day. Then I start incorporating some strength training. I'll do some lighter weights during this time, and I really just listen to my body. If I don't have the energy, I don't push it. Your body will give you cues and tell you exactly what you should be doing during the phases when you just listen to it. In the follicular phase and ovulation, I really try to push myself with the strength training. I'll up my weights, and if I have the time, I'll maybe do even a longer weight training session. Because my goal is to build that muscle, because the more muscle we have, the better everything is. This is when I try to push myself because I know that my hormones can handle it during this time. In the luteal phase, I still strength train, but again, I listen to my body and I don't push myself too much during this time because of that progesterone being so sensitive to cortisol. And I always walk every day and I throw Pilates into the mix when I'm feeling up to it. So basically it's like 3 to 4 times a week of strength training, 1 to 2 times a week of Pilates, and then walking every day. Walking is more for my mental health. It's really great in terms of your sleep, for your stress, for your gut health, for your blood sugar. So walking is great with that. And again, it's a really low impact workout. It's just not building any muscle. So I always incorporate walking into my routine to kind of hit the other pieces and then use strength training to try to build that muscle up. Now, here's how you can apply this. So you would want to aim for 3 days of strength training per week to support your metabolism and your hormone health. If you can walk daily to lower your cortisol and support your blood sugar, that would be great. Even like a 10-minute walk. The great thing about exercise is anything is better than nothing. You can do 5 minutes because 5 minutes is better than no minutes. And you don't have to do it consecutively. If you want to do 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 10 minutes there, that's totally fine. Wherever you can fit it in, just fit it in. That's the great thing about exercise. It doesn't have to be done consecutively to get results, and you don't have to be doing it consecutively to get the benefits for your hormones either. I want you to listen to your body, adjust based on your cycle phase and your energy levels. Again, your body will tell you what to do if you just start listening to it. Push your body when your hormones can handle it, and don't push it when they can't. Rest is productive for your hormones. We need to rest. Take 1 to 2 days of rest per week. It doesn't have to be complicated. Movement should help you feel good, not leaving you feel worse. I know as women, a lot of us have had a toxic relationship with exercise, thinking we need to push our bodies more and do more to get better results. But as we talked about today, that can actually be doing the opposite and preventing you from ever getting results. Psalm 127:2 is a verse that I think applies here. It is useless for you to work so hard from early morning until late at night, anxiously working for food, for God gives rest to his loved ones. It's not always about pushing yourselves harder. And this verse says it's useless to work against the way God designed our bodies. He wants us to rest and trust in him, even with our bodies and our workout journey, right? If today's episode helped you rethink how you move your body, would you share it with a friend who needs this encouragement too? And don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. I have some really good ones planned out coming up. Thank you for being here today. Until next week, I hope you have the best day ever. Bye.